Greetings, people of the world, people of the internet. Welcome to Scenes from the Lighthouse. If you are new here, welcome. If you've been here since seeing my other vlogs on this channel, thank you for joining me once again. For those of you who know me from my Twitch streams and my YouTube channel, I'm A1 Major, but I like to keep it personal and casual here, so you can just call me Anthony. So this entry will be 3 parts. Since it's a retrospective reflection, a lot of it has to do with some old ideals that still stick with me and certain things. So at least for the first one, the first video, the one that you're watching now, will be just I'm just going to read out a writing piece I wrote more than 10 years ago. Unlike my other pieces, this one still resonates with me really highly. And the next one will be my life with panic disorder. So a lot of the ideals that come between this and that will intertwine. And the last one is comfort zones and expanding the unknown, and how my life with panic disorder also weaves in and out of that. So I'm just gonna go and read this. So this was written in 2007. So I always feel like writing. I have a lot of things to write. I usually open my notebooks or a window in Word. But then after a few minutes of pondering, I shut the notebooks or close the window. It's a shame that it's come to that, because I know if I start writing, I will finish it. I used to have a driving motivation where I could see past all the things that hold me back. It's not having writer's block, where I don't know what I should write about next. It's more so trying to compose my thoughts in a style that makes sense to me, but not only to me, but for those who also read. I was on my way home riding the bus, and it was when the sun was setting. Not the smartest thing to consider, but rather than cover my eyes, I decided to look straight into the setting sun. That was the first time I ever saw the sun disappear behind the horizon without having any visual aid. Although the sun was long departed, the inverted silhouette had been burnt into my retina temporarily. Only something as prominent as the sun can leave an impact long after it's gone. The deep orange left behind transformed into a dark blue starlit sky. All the eminent trees and buildings became nothing but evanescent etchings, once casting a shadow, only to be lost as a diminutive shadow. I think about a lot of people, but many of them I can't put a name to, a face. It's all situational and circumstantial. I have come across many random people for no reason other than being in the same place at the same time, and that's how I remember them. Some action that they did may flick the hair off their face, smiled in my general direction, or purely their entrance has burned an image into my mind. I was never introduced, and I doubt I will see any of these people ever again, but the memory of each specific situation can be as vivid as anyone I speak to and see on a regular basis. With time, my perception on these recollections became distorted, a ghost engulfing that image. What I am left with is a memory of that memory, trying to grasp what made that encounter so intriguing. For staring at the sun, I was transported away, falling into anywhere. The one place I always find solace in imagining. Every time I think of this place, the image becomes much more clear and as shiny as a polished mirror. The last time I discussed this was just enough for anyone to understand. I am on a secluded tropical island On a beach, I sit hugging my legs. And as the waves almost seem to come crashing down, only to carefully caress my feet. I look around to the left and the beach arches out to a mountainside, which is fully covered in thick ambrosial greenery, peacefully influenced by the algid sea breeze. It is an overcast day, the sun patiently trying to shine through, only appearing every few hours. When it does start to spit, I think I should go back inside to fetch an umbrella, but I don't even want to waste any time away from such a beautiful atmospheric realm. Looking out further, I can see another island. In a way, I feel quite odd in the fact that there is probably someone present who in many respects is basking in their own surroundings. I just feel like springing to my feet and running along the bank, then diving into the water and swimming to meet this person. As much as I feel I don't fit anywhere, the fact that I'm not supposed to fit in anywhere is something I should have considered. It's almost impossible to have so many interests as people around me, but that's not at all a bad thing. That ideal scenario has in many ways made me understand why I find it such a perfect dream. I am filled with such anticipation and hope, being free in such an open and breathtaking place, knowing not where I am headed in life, but even then it doesn't really matter. I should just sit back and relax, appreciate all that is around me, and make a place for myself, rather than try and fit into somewhere that feels foreign. It wasn't ever about finding a standard to fit into, to disappear and lose individuality by seamlessly dispersing into the crowd, but it was about discovering who I was. It was always there right in front of me, but I failed to see this, pulled forwards into distorted complexity. I would be very misguided and delusional if I was ever to say that I'm not afraid of the unknown. The groups of neighbouring suburbs I live in have always comprised a bad reputation that strongly precedes them. To even consider taking a stroll at night is just pure reckless stupidity. On a number of occasions I have taken walks. I am not worried in the slightest because I know what to expect. More so that people will blow anything simple out of proportion. The roads are well lit, and you can see anything and everything no matter what time. I find myself more worried when it's pitch black, completely lacking lighting down some of the back streets, and not being able to judge what is on the ground ahead. I could easily trip, maybe fall down a hole, step on glass, and seriously hurt myself or worse. So yes, I am afraid of the unknown, just because I cannot fathom the magnitude of what is to come, and that is if anything even happens. The thing is, I cannot really do anything about it, since if I could, it would no longer be unknown. So I have to just accept whatever event transpires. While I am afraid of the unknown, I know I'm more afraid of being stuck in one place with those indistinguishable ideals manifested through time. I understand that quite well, and getting into a routine and being unaffected by the outside world. But that leads to a mundane life, where there is no differentiation from one day to the next. To try something new, to meet new people who just make a change is positive progression. It will be an intense roller coaster of emotions, good and bad, sometimes wondering why I would ever bother leaving my routine. It wasn't ever meant to be easy, but the elevated and ecstatic sensation sets in. Feeling refreshed and accomplished, learning about myself through the things I do and the people I talk to, constantly pushing to see if my capabilities are confined. I know living inside a comfort zone allows unnecessary trials and tribulations to pass by, but that means that letting heightened perception of happiness to pass by, and therefore placing a limit on life. The paradisiacal reflection is something to aspire to. But in many ways I have experienced portions of this perspective at contrasting points in my life. Up until recently, I have never bothered to get up and run along the ocean front. I have to know what's out there because I understand it will not be served to me on a silver platter, especially while I rest on the edge of the beach. There is so much to learn and so many people to meet, and as long as I expect the bad with the good, the coming adventure should be promising. Now it is time for me to sprint down the bank and dive into the water and swim out towards the adjoining island. And that was the entry. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. The next one should be up around the same time. But again, if you have any comments, I'll be free to answer them. And if you care for discussion, just message me. I'll be happy to have a chat. Again, if you like what you see, give the video a thumbs up. And obviously, there's more content coming, so subscribe to the channel. So in case I don't let anyone know, you'll be informed that way. But anyway, peace out, guys. Thanks for watching Scenes from the Lighthouse. Until next time, see you later.